Oh yeah, that sounds great. Yep.
Well, it doesn't have any choice but to sound great. This is What's the Buzz podcast.
Yeah, this is the best show around. Are you kidding?
Yeah, and we got Mike Messier with us tonight too.
Happy to
Absolutely.
Mikey's
be here.
back home where he belongs,
Yes.
Thank you.
out of
Appreciate
the
it.
world of phony wrestling.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
Wrestling, like they used to call it in the good old
Yeah,
days.
we'll talk about that for just a couple of minutes. I got to catch up on the stuff because I'm
Oh yeah.
hearing some crazy rumors.
Well, the
Yes.
biggest thing is possible sale of WWE. That's the big thing.
I've been
That's what I want
hearing
to talk
that.
to you about. I want to
Mhm.
talk to you about that right after this, Mikey.
All right.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's 4 o'clock in Los Angeles, 6 o'clock in Chicago, 2 p.m. in Singapore, and 7 p.m. in New York City. Hello, everybody. I'm Mad Dog DeCipio. It's Thursday night, Amelia Pitbull Chapman. What does that mean?
What's the buzz time?
It's What's the Buzz time. Tonight, a look inside one of the most nefarious airports in the world, Denver International. And to join us in that discussion, our friend Mike, the movie maker Messier. He's back home where he belongs.
Yes.
We'll keep him as long as
Welcome.
we can. Mikey, how
Good
are
to-
you, my brother?
I'm good, Angelo. I'm good, Amelia. Thank you for having me. I've been
Oh,
doing
yeah.
some research on this topic, so I'm looking forward to talking about it.
Thank you.
Yes, thank
I got to
you.
talk to you a little bit because Amelia and I have been hearing crazy rumors about WWE possibly being sold
Mhm.
to Saudi Arabia. So
Well,
why on earth do you think Vince, other than Vince is a heel and he wants to get a reaction, why would he want to sell WWE to the Saudis and piss everybody off? Or did I just answer my own question?
I don't think you're far from the answer, Angelo. I think there's a certain amount of spitefulness in it. If this is what does happen, we don't know that for sure yet. But
Mhm.
Vince has had his trouble with the federal government, the U.S. federal government going back to 93, 94. He loves money. He doesn't seem to care where the money comes from, and it all. To be honest, it might be spite towards his own children and his son-in-law. Who knows?
I have heard that there is trouble in paradise with Mr. and Mrs. McMahon.
Mhm.
I should point out that Linda McMahon is still the current, and she'll be there for another at least 3 years.
Mhm.
The current Small Business Administration secretary.
Mhm.
She's the head of the Small Business Administration, appointed by Donald Trump, and she was approved to assume that position there. When President Biden became president, he kept her on. I know that there has been both private and public feuding between that department and the White House. I know that the Mr. McMahon generally isn't very political, but his wife certainly is. Surprisingly, so too are Stephanie and Paul, very political. That surprised me. The fact that Vince would acquiesce to the Saudis really didn't surprise me, because as you said, Mikey, there is a bit of spitefulness in it. He does have a hard on for his son-in-law because he knows that the son-in-law and his daughter, whether he likes it or not,
Mhm.
they are the future of that company, if there is to be a future of that company. And if he sells that company and they decide not to bring on board Stephanie Paul and Bruce Pritchard, they're in trouble, brother. You're going to see a lot of different names and faces you've never heard of. You're going to see an entirely new look to wrestling, if you can even call it wrestling still.
Right.
You and I, Mikey, have had that conversation a long time. Been a long time now. You remember our late friend Jeff the Ref, that we're talking. You realize, Mikey, Jeff's been going 4 years already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
He passed away right
think
before
about
the.
Yeah,
Jeff
but
passed away like a week before the whole pandemic crisis really kicked in.
he sure the hell did. He died right before everything started.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
And interestingly enough, though, Mikey, you and Jeff used to have some knockdown dragouts about WWE loyalty. I have to tell you, Amelia,
Uh-huh.
Jeff the Ref Robinson was an absolute diehard WWF loyalist. Absolute. Mikey, please, am I lying about this?
No, Jeff was very loyal, and a lot of people are, especially kind of like where you're at, New Jersey, the Northeast, the whole East Coast is very WWE oriented, at least like from Baltimore up. And I can understand that. I grew up going to the Capitol Center. I mean, my first main event was Andre the Giant versus Blackjack Mulligan in a Texas death match. And
wow.
It was pretty awesome. I mean, and it would be another 3 or 4 years before I'd see Ric Flair versus Nikita Koloff in the Baltimore Arena for an NWA show. So my first exposure to any type of wrestling was WWF at the time. And so I can understand that loyalty and appreciate it. But at the same time, for me, a good comparison is to the Washington, what I grew up with as the Redskins, now the Commanders. They were such a great team, a great franchise in the 1980s. And then as the new owner, Dan Snyder, came in, they really went to the bucket, I mean, they become horrible. And that's, and maybe I'm an extremist in my viewpoint, but that's how I kind of see the WWE, at least creatively. Financially, they're doing great, but creatively.
And that's where I just don't understand that. How do you explain that they're making more money than they ever have before? And the product has never been it's never been lower or as bad as it is right now. But yet they're making hand over fist, like boku billions of dollars. I just don't understand it. I don't get it.
I think that they're living now off the reputation of the hard work they put in the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And to be honest, with these days of streaming and people cutting the cord and all that stuff, things that kind of have an established foot in the pop culture dance floor tend to stick around and get those big payoffs, because if nothing else, it's really thank the audience. Don't thank Vince. Thank the wrestling fans.
We have a Facebook user, Mikey. We have a Facebook user on, says maybe Vince knows the Rain Man. Now you have to know what we were talking about. The Rain Man is a satanic, demonic entity that has infiltrated the music business. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if Vince McMahon not only knew the Rain Man, but was related to the Rain Man.
Right.
Because Vince is just an evil son of a bitch. He's really just a mean guy.
He's
a natural heel.
Right.
Do you think Vince has a reservation in the underground hotel at the Denver airport?
He probably owns a whole suite. Are you shitting me?
Right.
I'll tell you what. Let's take a look at the Denver airport. That's going to be our focus tonight. I want everybody to understand what we're talking about here. Let me just give a little heads up. I came across, and it was just actually the show started as a small blurb in a little article I read, talking about a conspiracy theory. Check this one out if you've never heard this. A conspiracy theory that the Denver airport, Denver International, is the U.S. headquarters of the worldwide Illuminati. Now, as strange or as conspiratorial as that may sound to some people, them conspiracy nuts, You never know what kind of shit they're on. I want to have some.
Mhm.
Well, come to find out that you could probably get all you want for free because this information is out there. And the more I read and the more I dug, it just seemed, and I have volumes of stuff, but Denver International was opened. It opened the gates and runways in 1995. 21 years to build, almost $7 billion over budget. And they didn't help themselves by building a runway that looks strikingly like a German swastika.
Yes.
And you're going to see that tonight. You're also going to see some very questionable artwork, Mike Messier.
Yes.
What do you know about Denver, Mikey? What does your research or your info tell you?
I want to give credit to a lady on YouTube named Stephanie Harlow that I just discovered last night. She seems to have a really good, balanced YouTube channel, and she kind of did a deep dive video about an hour and 20 minutes into a lot of the controversies. She wasn't advocating that any of these conspiracies are accurate. She was just sharing what they are. Yeah. I actually also looked at the Denver Airport YouTube channel. They have about 10,000 subscribers.
Yep.
And that's the actual. And what I found interesting, Angelo, there's a lot of parallels to this and the Paul is dead conspiracy that you and I have discussed.
There sure the hell is.
Yeah. And the thing that I make the biggest comparison with both of these controversies is whether it's a true conspiracy or a true underground thing or a true cover-up or not, both the Beatles and the Denver airport play into it as a means of publicity and marketing. Yep. And the fact that they have the blue Mustang, like kind of the mascot statue out there, and people say it's cursed. Well, people say it's cursed because the creator actually, unfortunately, was killed in the process of making the big blue Mustang.
He sure was.
Yes.
And so, you know, it really, sometimes it's almost a religious thing. Like, do people think that inanimate objects can possess spirits and bad voodoo and stuff like that? And I kind of think that they can in some circumstance. So this whole thing with the Denver airport is very interesting. They do have, similar to Paul is dead stuff, they have an answer for everything. Like if you ask why,
do they?
Yes.
Yeah. Why?
Oh boy, do they? I'm glad you brought that up, Mikey. I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to discuss this with you and Amelia. Let's talk about that. For every tit, there's a tat.
Yes.
For every yin, there's a yang. And they seem to have the tits and tats and yins and yangs pretty well covered. I noticed something, and I'm wondering, because you're a filmmaker, and I want your third eye on this one when I show you. I'm wondering if, you know how we talk about subliminal messages in advertising and, you know, hiding in plain sight? Well, you're going to see some of that tonight. But I'm wondering if they weren't having a bit of tongue-in-cheek fun at their own expense while, you know, dissuading the public from the conspiracy aspect. By way of venturing into that, I want to show everybody this. Take a look at this real quick.
Okay.
International Airport, or DEN Airport, is shrouded in secrecy, riddled with weird statues and creepy art, and is a place of strange stories and myths. People even questioned why DEN Airport was built in the first place. The current airport opened in 1995, but there was a fully functioning one closer to downtown. This new version is twice the size of Manhattan.
I want you to hear what he said. Did you hear what he said?
Yes,
the airport is twice the size of Manhattan. Do you know how big Manhattan is? It's the second largest city in the United States. Think about that in perspective.
And the development went $2 billion over budget. But even before the current Denver International Airport opened, it was the subject of countless conspiracy theories. Is there any truth behind the rumors? That's what we intend to get to the bottom of in this episode of The Infographics Show. A cursed airport? The Denver Airport. A quick Google search on Den Airport brings back numerous stories from both mainstream media and independent conspiracy sites, so something's clearly going on. Before we get into the conspiracy stories, let's first take a tour of the inside of this creepy, gigantic building. It's famous for its terrifying 32-foot-tall statue of a giant horse with fiery, glowing eyes. The Denver locals call him Blucifer, according to media outlet Slate. But even freakier is the odd story of the red-eyed statue called Blue Mustang that killed its sculptor Luis Jimenez. It fell on him and severed an artery. And inside the airport, there are more disturbing art pieces, including a mural of a devil jumping out of a suitcase and a statue of Anubis, the ancient Egyptian god of death. Some of the more controversial art pieces have now been removed, including a character that resembled a Nazi officer in a gas mask, children in front of a burning building, and kids gathered around a knife. Not the usual style you'd expect from an airport terminal building. So what about the conspiracy theories that surround Den Airport? One that's talked about a lot is the shape of the runways. An aerial view of the runways at the airport shows that they resemble the shape of a swastika. And this is not a typical formation for an airport's runways. The explanation from an airport representative is that the runways are designed that way so that they can be used simultaneously regardless of the weather patterns. She told the UK newspaper The Telegraph, "We think the shape looks like a pinwheel." But in the same Telegraph article, it was also pointed out that New York's JFK and the Las Vegas and Miami airports all have very different layouts, so this certainly gives us something to think about.
Mikey, you look at that layout. Does that look like a swastika to you, or are they on to something about the parallel takeoffs?
You can't.
Your
I'm
mic
sorry.
is.
It could be both. I mean, it could be a functional, it could be a functional thing for the airport, which just so happens from an aerial view, it looks like a swastika. The other thing that we should always remember when referencing the swastika, wasn't that a different cultures before the Nazis? The Nazis kind of
the swastika, and thank you for bringing that up, Mikey. The swastika, if you don't know, and I'm going to educate you, like Mikey and I use in the wrestling business, say smarten you up. The swastika is actually Egyptian, and it's a good luck symbol. Believe it or not, it's a good luck symbol. It's a symbol of prosperity and long life. Don't ask me how you pervert that from the Egyptians to the Germans. I don't get that.
Well,
but that's where it came from. It came from the Egyptians, Mikey. Yeah.
Right. So the Nazis, in an early case of cultural appropriation, used that beautiful symbol for their own devious plans and horrible use. So in that case, let's just say that the Denver airport, pathway is in the shape of a swastika. Why are we going directly to the Nazi thing instead of saying it's the symbol of peace?
Well, I'm going to answer that for you, Mikey. The answer is found in some very nefarious artwork. Hold that thought. Our Facebook user says this is some freaky stuff, but you ain't seen nothing yet, brother or sister, whoever you are, because I don't know if you're male or female, quite frankly. Our friend Panda.
Hey.
She says, hello, y'all. And she says, now here you go, Mikey. Panda says that's definitely a swastika to her. I can look at it and see both. I can see the runway, the parallel takeoffs, but I can also see, and you don't have to really use your imagination too much. You can see it fairly closely resembles a swastika. I want everybody to take a look at this. Mikey, I want to show you something real quick.
Sure.
By the way, read that. It says dedicated by the New World Airport Commission. We're going to talk about that at some length later because it's not just a capstone. This place is enormous.
That's creepy.
Yeah. Now let me explain something to you there, brother.
Sure.
I don't know about you, but people have made the comparison to the German SS when looking at this.
Mm-hmm.
People have also said it looks like an Arab terrorist or Middle Eastern terrorist because of the swords that the soldier is holding and the fact that the garb he's wearing isn't really a uniform. It's more like a Amelia, what would you call them outfits that you were like the women wear, like a one piece, like a sarong, or
Yeah,
like
something
a
like
one,
that with a wrap.
like a one piece, Mikey?
Yeah.
I thought it began with a
Take a
B.
look. Tell me what
Yeah.
you see there.
Well,
Tell me what you see.
it looks like some type of evil commander. Speaking of commander, some type of evil commander wielding a sword and a machine gun of sorts over an innocent family. There was some explanation I found in Harlow's video and other places that this is supposed to be a montage and that one of the panels, I think this one, is like the end of the world. The evil rain comes over from an evil group, and then the other panel that's less publicized is like the good guys get their revenge and the world goes back to peace. And some people say that may be true, but some of the conspirators think that they're actually in reverse order and that the first panel is the one of peace and prosperity, and the second one is of evil overtaking the peace and prosperity.
Okay,
I mean,
let me tell you, Mikey, and just to interrupt you very quickly, the name of this art piece here, this is called World Dream, Children of the World Dream of Peace.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of this piece. I can't even make this shit up.
It doesn't look like the Children of the World Dream of Peace.
It was, the artist's name is Tanguma.
Mm-hmm.
The artist Tanguma entitled this work Children of the World Dream of Peace. And the other one is called In Peace and Harmony with Nature. By the way, Mike Messier, you're a history guy. Where have you and I heard that before? Peace and harmony with nature.
It sounds like the 1960s to me, the hippie culture.
The Georgia Guidestones.
Oh yeah,
where Georgia Guidestones. Yeah. So the artist, the interpretation the artist gives is that these are children that slumber after a world war has taken place, and they're waking up dreaming of this beautiful new utopia. You're going to see some pictures that don't look like utopia. Again, Mikey, here you go. Tongue in cheek or what?
Well,
are they saying we have aliens here? Or are they pulling your chain?
I guess one thing I'd say, Angelo, is, we live in such a big country, and I'm in Florida. And when I moved from New England to Florida by car, by driving myself down here, I literally felt my blood getting redder with each passing state going south. You know what I mean? So what might be offensive to people in certain parts of the country, it seems like Denver kind of has the mindset of like a Portland, Oregon, or a San Francisco, California, or even Providence, Rhode Island, where I used to live. Very liberal, arts-oriented, being quirky for the sake of being quirky. If you ever saw the show Portlandia, which is hilarious.
Absolutely.
Right. So I wonder, watching some of the Denver airport YouTube stuff, they really lean into, as the kids say, this quirkiness, this, oh yeah, wink, wink, nod, nod. I think the thing that you and I, Angelo, and Amelia too, with our experience with Paul is Dead and stuff like that, the term of hiding in plain sight. Are they joking with us? Are they wink, wink, nod, nodding? But there really is some corrupt stuff going on there. And rather than just flat out deny it, it's easier in some ways to play into it or make fun of it. And that way people will get off the scent that it's real. So who knows?
It's an interesting, and I'll tell you what, I can't argue with anything you just said. Amelia, question for you, young lady.
Yes.
You've done the research. You came across some interesting stuff too.
Mhm, mhm.
What do you make of all this, especially considering you brought to my attention that there was something that looked like a landing pad? You want to
Right. Hmm.
talk about that for a minute and how it ties into the, Mikey's wink, wink, nod, nod with the
Right.
UFO, the aliens, the secret. We're going to talk about the secrets of Denver.
Mhm.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to bring you. I'm going to bring in this conversation.
Mhm.
Talk to me.
Yeah, because I mean, just like you were saying, and Micah was saying, hidden in plain sight, right there. That tells you right there. There's aliens. That's telling you, like he was saying, wink, wink, hush, hush. To
Well, are
me,
they telling you that, or are they saying we're playing with your head,
I think
or are
there's.
they saying to you, guess?
My belief is that they're telling us it's there. Just don't be scared. They're telling you they're there. Just they're not gonna They're not gonna harm you because they're not gonna be near you. They're just
Well,
to keep us down
Mikey,
from you.
is she on to something, or is it just like hiding in plain sight? What is this? What are we
I
talking about
mean,
here?
I would love to at some point in my life. I'd love to go to Denver Airport and look at it in person. But I mean,
And
just
find it.
just their videos online. I mean, I think they actually have a talking gargoyle statue.
You're going to see that tonight. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
going.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing that I think might be quite possible. All the stuff on the surface level that we can see, the talking gargoyle, the blue Mustang,
Yeah.
The pictures of the aliens and kind of the playfulness of it all,
Yeah.
that might very well be on the surface. And then if you really dig beneath the surface, they very well could have some hidden bunkers in case of a nuclear attack or an apocalypse where
Yeah.
the elite, the Illuminati, go to hide. And what's frustrating for people like us that we want to find out the truth and know the answers, we may, just like the JFK thing, we may never know the real truth because the real truth has been buried and warped. And we'd have to be super, super, super inner circle to get to the center of the Tootsie Roll Pop on this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, let's take a look at the rest of this. I got some information about those tunnels that may surprise everybody.
That looks like
Okay. I got to show you something. Now, let me explain something to everybody about what you're seeing here. This alien on the wall, it's actually a cement wall, concrete wall. That's not a drawing. It's etched into the concrete. Okay.
Wow.
It's in one of the the underground tunnels that go on literally for 40 to 50 miles. Not even, check it out if you think I'm not even kidding you. There is also, Mike Messier, rumored to be a tunnel under the Denver airport that is directly linked to Cheyenne Mountain. Now, you know what Cheyenne Mountain is. It's the headquarters of NORAD.
Okay.
Okay. Cheyenne Mountain and Denver Airport, if you take a ruler or a compass, it's going to go straight there. It's literally a straight line from Denver to Cheyenne Mountain. Cheyenne Mountain is a fortified, literal mountain that the U.S. government burrowed into in the 1950s, and it took more than almost 20 years to build because they had to hollow out. Think about this. Think about the technology to do this. They had to hollow out the inside of a mountain to build a command bunker for the military. If they could do that in the 50s, imagine the technology they have to do stuff in 2023. Okay? It should scare the literal fuck out of you.
Yes, imagine what's in there now.
Say again, Amelia?
Imagine what's in there now, especially.
Well, that's what we're going to try and find out. That's what this whole show is about.
Back a couple of slides, too.
All right, here you go, Mike. This is the one. This is the one. It's called Peace and Harmony with Nature.
Right.
The artist Tanguma put this together. But if you look now, the soldier now is now on the ground dead. He no longer has the knife and an automatic weapon in his hand. He's now dead. So there may be something to the story being told that the artwork portrays. But then again, it may be all smoke and mirrors. You never know. We're going to take a look. Yeah, and now, here you go. By the way, just so you have an idea of how big what you're looking at is actually, each one of those offshoots of that swastika-shaped runway, you're looking at you're looking at 2, 4, 5. You're looking at 6 different runways. 2 run parallel, the other 2 run equal side to side. Each one of those runways is 3 miles long, 16,000 feet.
Wow.
Each one, not the whole thing. Each one. Each one. Go Google it. Google this stuff. What I'm telling you is true. Google it. All right, now here we go. Some interesting stuff here. Denver International Airport, Wellington Webb, Mayor of Denver, Governor Roy Romer, Secretary of Transportation Federico Pena. By the way, Federico Pena was the Secretary of Transportation under Ronald Reagan. This time capsule beneath the stone contains a bunch of different stuff, and there's a list of what it contains. Among them, a Colorado flag, a credit card. It contains advertisement for different products like McDonald's, Dr. Pepper. It's just a bunch of random stuff. But underneath it, it says dedicated March 19th, 1994 by the New World Airport Commission contributors, and it has the names. By the way, all of the names there, do check out. They are still in business today, every last one of them. And underneath, and I didn't notice this until just a few days ago, but underneath that capstone is a time capsule. And I had to actually think of, read it twice. Yeah, there's a time capsule in there. So, of course, my mind got curious, had to find out what it was. And as I said, there's, advertising for soft drinks, for McDonald's, Burger King, places that will probably not be around in 100 years when they open this thing. Because it's scheduled to be open in 2094. March 19th, 2094. That's the open date on it. Strange stuff, Mikey. What do you think? What do you make of this thing?
Well, I like to go back to the Georgia Guidestones you mentioned, because I did make a trip there, and the Georgia Guidestones were most recently destroyed by apparently a vigilante or a private citizen. And so the Georgia Guidestones, I got one of the last looks in person of those things. And
Are they completely down? I mean, are they really?
A vigilante about 6 months ago went and blew them up. And
what?
Are you shitting me?
No,
it's a real story. And
how do we do? I'm not hearing this the first time.
Yeah, no, it's a real story. I've looked into it, and there's
shit.
videos now of people going to the site of what was formerly the Georgia Guidestones.
Oh my gosh!
So apparently the first person who, overnight, I guess there's no surveillance camera. The first person to, blow most of it up didn't destroy all of it, but the next day, the city or the state came through and demolished the rest of it. So it is quite peculiar. I think that there was actually a person running for office in the state of Georgia that made destroying the Georgia Guidestones part of her campaign. So there was some rumors that maybe she was involved, although she didn't take credit for it. So it's interesting. On MikeMessier.com, I have all my photos and videos from the Georgia Guidestones about a year before they were destroyed, and but it is have a very similar vibe to this capstone at the Denver airport.
It tells me here, Mike, Georgia Guidestones, that's the operative, was a granite monument stood in Elbert County, Georgia, from 1980 to 2022. It was erected 1980, March 22nd, destroyed 2022, July 6th, destroyed by, and it has question mark, vigilante or what am I looking at? Here, vigilante or private citizen. Here we go. So it was either a private citizen that took it, or it was someone in the vigilante group.
Yep.
Incredible. That's the first time I'm hearing that.
That's horrible.
Locals blame conspiracy theories for Georgia Guidestones bombing. Man, they ain't kidding. We're going, Amelia, write that down. Georgia Guidestones.
Absolutely. I already had it written down.
Good. We have to do a show. Mikey, thank you for that. I had no idea.
Mikey, I think you're going to be a guest on that show too.
I'm a fan of the Guidestones. I'm one of those people.
Me too. I wanted to do a show on that forever.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that, you know, I adhere to the mantra of the Guidestones.
We had that on our
sad to think that somebody blew it up. I had no idea. First I'm hearing this. It's crazy.
Me too. We had that on our list to
shocked.
do a show on. We just didn't know what date we were going to do it on.
Yeah, I know. We already had it written down. We were going to do a show on the Georgia Guide. Now we have to speed it up.
We have to.
Let's watch. You get the reptilian reference here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not an advertisement for Geico. Let's put it.
No.
Right.
That's an odd face in everywhere.
There's somebody drawing a swastika over a transparency.
Mm-hmm.
I can see where maybe you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm out on that one. I got to be honest. Now, here's what they tell me, Mike Messier.
Yep.
They tell me that this is a woman and a child in a deceased state.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They tell me that the figure to the left of the child and the woman is an angel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Come to watch over them. They also say that if you look, that the child and the mother are in a casket. Some say it's a blanket, but it's very obscure to kind of make out. Is it a blanket that they're cradled in, or are they both shoved into a box? Especially considering this photo was taken with a panoramic lens. So it's got kind of a circular motion to it. The actual photograph you're going to see is not circular. So we'll take a look at that. Now, Amelia thinks there's a landing pad in here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where do you think it is, kid?
Let's see. Probably over there where those things looks like they're standing tall this way.
Okay.
To that circle.
And you think that's where your landing pad is?
I believe so. It looks like, because it's like a circle-ish kind of round
Keep
thing.
that in mind. We're gonna come back to that. Beautiful building.
Very gorgeous airport. I think it's wings.
by the way, let's just go back to that one just for a
Mhm.
second. Denver has their own vertiport. It's the only one
Mhm.
on the western side of the U.S.
Hmm.
It's called a vertiport. They have, if you don't know what that is, guys, a vertiport is a landing facility for a verticopter. It's a combination of a helicopter and airplane. So it
Oh, okay.
doesn't. It can take off like an airplane, or it can rise above and hover like a helicopter.
Oh, okay.
So they can go into very small places, and they're often used as rescue vehicles, rescue transports. They don't need any place to vertically land. They can come straight down,
Or
which is
could be
pretty
used
remarkable.
for like army or something like that, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. You saw 2 underground tunnels. One like this you might expect to see where all the piping is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got this. Which is a much more station. There you go. I don't know, but that's another of the underground tunnels. You can drive vehicles side by side, like a road down there. In fact, those are traffic lines that you see. It's around 40 to 50 miles of underground tunnel in this place. You're not going to tell me, I don't care if you're a conspiracy nut or not, like myself. You're not going to tell me they built all this under there and didn't build secure facilities for people to be protected, like the president, like the vice president, or
There's secret
some
doorways in there somewhere.
some authority figure,
Mm-hmm.
like the National Program Office or the Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that's where we know they're real. They're not even trying to pretend anymore.
No.
They're not even pretending that they're an organ. They're a real organization, and they're saying, "Yeah, guess what? It's 2023. We're coming out of the closet, literally and figuratively."
Mm-hmm.
Take a look. How'd you get in there, Jerry? That, by the way, that gentleman, I don't know. I'm going to tell you what happened. I got to tell you what happened. This gentleman was my mentor in radio and television. His name was Jerry Blavitt.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away last week.
I'm sorry.
They had his memorial. Dionne Warwick, the singer Dionne Warwick, delivered his eulogy. But I must have, when I was doing this, I did this the day he died, so he must have got shoved in with my photos. So forgive me, folks. Sorry.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah, there you go. These are all underground tunnels. Look, you got a train system, you got a rail system there. You know, you got a fully functioning subway underneath. And there's gargoyles everywhere. I'm going to tell you why.
I bet you touch somewhere on their forehead or somewhere, and that's where the secret doorway opens.
I found out why there are so many gargoyles there. I had to check this out. Gargoyles, contrary to popular belief, and if you checked it out, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Contrary to popular belief, gargoyles are not evil. They are protectors. Yes, they're almost like guardians. They were often referred to in history as the hounds of hell. Okay. They would protect people from entering, not leaving, entering the gates of hell, and would only allow those to pass that belonged in hell. I have a feeling I'm going to have a lot of gargoyles waiting for me. Oh man. But that's the whole thing with the gargoyles. Mike Messier, let me bring up here, front and center. So let's talk a little bit, my friend. From what you've seen, I got a couple more videos to show too. From what you've seen, is it assuading you, thinking maybe there's something here, or is there more a practical approach to what we're talking about?
I think it's. I mean, I guess my opinion remains pretty much the same, which is there's either something here, or it's a giant marketing scheme to make it seem like there may be something here in order for people like ourselves to discuss it. And just like any other business, Denver Airport wants customers. And
Well,
if they get,
Mikey, I was just going to interject it right there, and I think you put you put the exclamation point at the end of the sentence. I think what they have done is absolute to tie into what you're saying. I think what they've done is absolutely brilliant marketing, rather than, and what they did was smart, and they finally somebody got smart, rather than, put the hand out and say, nope, this is not a conspiracy thing here, blah, 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 blah. What they said was, come on, let me show you the aliens. Come on, let me show you the gargoyles. Come on, let me show you the underground Illuminati headquarters. Come to Denver. Spend
right.
your money here. Because I got news for you, brother. You could spend probably 2-3 weeks in that place and never find a plane. It's huge.
Mhm.
It's enormous.
Yes.
I wanted to add something about the tunnels. Maybe this is an idea for another show of yours, but I believe that New York City still has a bunch of tunnels underground, because was it the 1920s or before then that a great deal of travel was used?
Oh, God, yeah. They still have something. Not only do they have the underground tunnels, many of which were never capped closed, they're still open. A lot of New York's homeless can't Google it, please, folks. I tell everybody, Mikey, to Google stuff, because when I talk, they think I'm full of shit.
Right.
If Angelo's lips are moving, he's lying. I promise you. I put my hand. Google it. People, the homeless live in the subways, the capped off subways, the open subways. They live underground. The big thing, too, in New York, strange thing, talking about underground systems. The mail used to be delivered underground. The entire grid of New York City is linked building to building to building with the Central Post Office. Again, check it out if you think I'm lying. With the Central Post Office of New York. They used to, remember these, you see these things at the bank that you put your receipt in and it goes into a chute? You ever see them, Mikey?
Yep.
You go to the bank and it pops up the little pipe.
Yes.
New York City has, oh my God, however many buildings there are, that's how many of these chutes there are. Every single building is connected to every other building by a mail chute. You put the mail in the tube, you put the tube in the chute, and it flies all around the city, finding its destination. It's remarkable. Amelia, write that down. We're going to do underground New York. Mikey, thank you for the heads up on that.
Hey, no problem. And it's interesting when you're talking about the shoot thing at the bank, Angelo. I remember when I was growing up, there was a McDonald's in Virginia that did the same thing, because the way that the drive-through was constructed was kind of goofy. So you didn't even talk with a person; you talked through the speakerphone, and they sent your McDonald's food through a bag through a tunnel. So
that's remarkable.
There's a documentary, I want to say, on the Disney Plus app about was it called The Autocrats? Like, you used to go into this kind of a diner and you would pay for food with quarters or nickels.
Yes.
And the food would come out of a little bin thing. So there's definitely a history to that type of thing, where could some of those old school methods of travel or methods of communication, could they be in reserve at places like Denver Airport? And apparently listening to this Stephanie Harlow YouTube video, she's also saying that they're like in Virginia. There's a place where the elite is it Mount Weather or something where
Mount Weather, Virginia. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Right. People
We're actually, Mike. I'm glad you brought that up, Mike, because we're doing, and you could be part of the show. I think you'd really enjoy it.
Yes.
We're doing a show called, and you're going to love the acronym. It's called DUMBS, DUMBS, Deep Underground Military Base System.
Mm-hmm.
DUMBS,
Yeah,
Cheyenne Mountain, Mount Weather. Believe it or not, people don't even realize this. Mount Shasta, California. Okay, there's a bunker system under Mount Shasta, California. Tennessee, Ohio, Kentucky, Texas, Florida. There's a system under the Pensacola area, northern Florida, where the Panhandle is.
Right.
There's an underground military base there. The people drive past it all day. It's because it's underneath you. There's a highway right over top of it. And you don't know what's going on under there.
No.
Right.
But your military is certainly at work. All kinds of places. We're going to do a show on that. Deep underground military base system. Continue, Mike. I interrupted you. Sorry.
No, it's all right. I mean, it's just watching these videos and I mean, there is so much to this Denver airport thing. Like I said, it reminds me so much of the Beatles and Paul is Dead, where the subject matter, whether it's the Denver airport or the Beatles or Apple Records, once the controversy or once the conspiracy is kind of leaked to the general public or discussed among the public, the person in question, the central character, so to speak, plays into it. And in both scenarios, the Beatles especially, but also Denver airport, you have to give them credit, like you said, brilliant, marketing. Here we are talking about it. I mean, I grew up going to Dulles National Airport, Dulles Airport and National Airport in DC and LaGuardia, and none of those airports have any type of, as far as I know, mythology or controversy or art. We don't talk about TF Green Airport in Warwick, Rhode Island. There's nothing to say about it.
No.
And to give these folks in Denver credit, yes, is the art kind of scary or offensive or horrific or bizarre? Yes. But if it was just, the painting, the Bob Ross painting of the bush and the tree and the sunset, nobody would care. Nobody would be talking about it.
You just pointed out, Mikey, people are talking about it.
Right.
They're talking. I know people. Remember Shirley that used to work with me, Mikey?
Yeah.
Okay. She passed away. Shirley died.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, Shirley had cancer all over her body. Shirley lived a 10-minute drive from Denver International. Okay? She would go to the neighboring state to use the airport. She wouldn't use the airport in Denver.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. No, she
Shirley was she said, I hate that place. It's evil. There's all kinds of underground tunnels. She was the one me turned on to the underground tunnels and all that. Let's take a look at this. There's a video here I want you to watch. It's called Hiding in Plain Sight. This came from I think it may have come from Denver International itself. They put a bunch of videos out. Check this out.
Oh. What?
That's a little too close for comfort, lady.
Oh, damn.
Boy, you never seen a talking gargoyle before? Welcome to Illuminati headquarters. I mean, Denver International Airport.
This is awesome.
Hello. Do I know you?
Are you hungry?
Oh, I'm starving. You got anything for me? Those flowers look delicious.
Oh, it's because of the conspiracy.
Oh, it's because of the conspiracy. Look at me. I'm a little know-it-all. Will you get back over here? I got a question about this conspiracy. Did you have to buy an extra seat for your hat, sir? Sir, are you stealing a desk? Sir, you have resting, confused face. Do you have a favorite animal or pet?
A caterpillar. job?
A caterpillar? Wouldn't you rather have a gargoyle?
No!
Yes. You know, you can actually put the phone down and have a conversation with me. But no, I'm a millennial. I've got to post it. I've got to snap face it and Twitter book it. Excuse me, miss, I've got a stain that needs some polishing. Can I borrow your cleaning cart?
Oh, no.
I need your help. Guess what my favorite food is?
What?
No, I want you to guess.
Human?
Cumin. Yes, I love cumin.
I said human.
Oh, I thought you said cumin. I'm a real big spice guy. Furry hat guy, I can't believe you are wearing one of my friends.
Hey, this isn't your friend.
It used to be until you put it on your head, man.
How old are you?
Well, 243 years old now. I look good for my age, don't I?
Yeah, you work out.
All the time. You should see my squats.
You're such a sweet talker.
Will you take me back home with you?
Let's go. I have some space in my backpack.
Actually, I think you have too much baggage for me.
They're embracing it. They're
Wow.
embracing it. They have what they've done is remarkable. They took this, the gargoyle concept. They had someone in Hollywood made this for them. It's an animatronic gargoyle. The eyes are there's cameras in the eyes, and there's a guy in a booth, probably 5 or 6 miles away, wherever the hell he's at. And he's talking to these people over, he's sitting there with his headphones or whatever, getting paid. It's a cushy gig. Just talks to patrons all day, passengers.
Wow.
It's remarkable. Very innovative what they did.
I like to see Don,
embracing it, you know?
I like to see Don Rickles have that gig, Angelo.
So let's talk a little bit about this. Amelia, I'm going to bring you in up here. I'm going to bring you on the big screen.
Okay.
There you go. Here she is, the pit bull. You did a little bit of research the last couple of days about Denver. So tell me, what was in your opinion, for you, what was the most interesting thing you found out that you didn't know or was surprised to find out about Denver International?
Oh, basically all the tunnels that you were talking about. I could not believe that many tunnels was underneath that. Just a few levels. I didn't think there were that many levels.
40 miles worth of 40 to 50. Did you see the photo I showed of the airplane taking off on top of a building?
Yes.
That was at Denver. But I want you to notice something, though. The building it was taking off from was a buried building.
What?
It was in the ground.
Wow.
The top of the building is part of the runway. That's where that airplane was taken off from.
So it could have been one of those people, that Illuminati people. You never know who could have been in that.
That was an airplane taking off. That's what it was.
I mean, you never know who was in the people, but you know how
Illuminati. It was an airplane taking off.
You know how we see those
you're
shows.
a conspiracy nut, Amelia.
You know how we watch those shows, X-Files, and they have supernatural things like that.
Yeah,
and then the letters. You know how they tell us, okay, well, this is the group that we belong to. You know how they have those shows. Maybe that's why they made those shows, to tell people, hey, look, they really exist, and this is where they're from. And
I know.
The supernatural had men of letters. They had bunkers.
Mike Messier knows all that. That's his field.
Yeah, there's a term for that, Amelia. The term is predictive programming. When a concept or an idea is brought to the public, usually through fiction, and then we find out years later that something real. And I think a good case of that, Angelo, you know this one, is that the Manchurian Candidate film.
Oh God, sure.
Yeah, so I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
I think Sinatra pulled that movie from being distributed at the time because it was too similar to what happened with John F. Kennedy. So
absolutely,
predictive programming is the term for that type of thing.
Yeah, that's a show that I was almost going to do, and I didn't because I didn't. Quite frankly, I'm not afraid to get heat, but that show will generate a lot of heat because you're going to ruffle a lot of feathers with it. People don't want to feel like they've been duped,
Right.
and predictive programming is definitely super duper. Let's put it down. Super duper. But yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Take a look at this, you guys.
The footage you're about to see has been hidden from public view until now. This archival footage exposes some of the weirdest and most frightening theories about Denver International Airport. From demonic horses to aliens, feast your eyes, if you dare.
Since opening in 1995, some people have come up with wild, emphasis on wild, conspiracy theories about the airport that are unheard of and unfounded.
Exactly. Have you heard about the horse?
Everyone coming into the airport has to pass by this. A demonic blue horse with glowing fiery eyes. Is it a curse? Who knows?
Actually, it's a Mustang. And it's meant to represent Denver as a gateway to the American West. Have a look at this.
Now, okay, I've never heard that one before, Mike Messier. I always thought that the gateway to the West was, or the gateway to the Midwest was, St. Louis. Is that what they call the gateway to the West, St. Louis?
I think so.
I've heard of the St. Louis, yes, but not.
Yeah, and I've never heard of Denver, of all places, Denver, Colorado, being called the gateway to the West.
Well, once again,
so I don't know where they're getting that from.
I think they're creating it themselves once again, Angelo, as a way of labeling themselves, or what's the term people use now? Branding themselves.
Branding, yes.
Yeah, sure.
And it. I mean, to be honest, it's as we go deeper and deeper. It feels like it's more like a facade of artsiness or a facade of quirkiness, and underneath that is just the core marketing and greed, like everybody else.
I've watched this video a few times, and one thing I'm going to say, I'm going to let it play out, but I'm going to say this as it plays. The two people involved here, or the couple of people that you see, are all Denver International employees. They all work for the airport. The marketing director, the director of marketing, the human resources person. One thing they all do is they're all having a great deal of fun at their own expense. But as you listen to it and as you watch it, take notice of the reactions of each other. It's very, very telling. Just watch. That's all I'm going to say.
This artwork is located on the Concourse train station.
So tell me that it doesn't look like post-apocalyptic ruins.
Where are people getting these ideas?
The internet.
Denver International Airport's public art program dedicates 1% of every construction project budget that goes directly to art, which leads to some really interesting art. There are over 40 installations that people really seem to enjoy.
But there are so many other signs that fuel these conspiracy theories. Like, take a look at this. New World Airport Commission. Who are they? I've heard that that's a moniker for the Illuminati.
The New World Airport Commission is a completely made-up name. When we opened in 1995, we were a new type of global airport, but that group never existed.
All right, so what about this one? AUAG. AUAG. Australian antigen. The rumored poison of choice for the Illuminati.
No. We're in Colorado. Look around. Colorado's a mining state. That's a mining cart. AU is the atomic symbol for gold, and AG is for silver.
But what about the tunnels?
You want to go see the tunnels? Let's go see the tunnels.
See, these tunnels underneath the airport are used to hold secret meetings for aliens and lizard people.
Wait, is that a baggage cart? Yes, that's a baggage cart. It's not so fancy down here, is it? There are more than 1,000 people who work down here in the tunnels.
So what are you saying then? That all of this weird phenomena isn't related to some huge conspiracy?
Yes, that's exactly what I've been saying this entire time.
Huh. So whether you choose to believe or love to debunk, next time you're at Denver International Airport, feel free to explore.
Wait, no! Interview's over! Interview's over!
Very, very cutesy.
Very badly scripted and acted.
If you watch it very carefully, what you've noticed is that they're feeding off of each other. They know what they're doing because it's obviously scripted.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly not improvised in any way, shape, or form. It's
Mm-mm.
completely scripted and brilliantly directed. Mikey, as a film, as a marketing ploy, how well was that produced? That video?
Well, fairly well. I mean, Amelia said it was horrible script writing and acting, but I would kind of counter that by saying, Amelia, they're not trying to win an Oscar or an Emmy with this thing.
No.
It's in some ways, it is a marketing ploy of folksiness or neighborhood-ishness. It's like they're trying to seem like the person next door or like a real person. So you see that a lot in commercials where the people in the commercials are playing folksy, Bob down the street, Sally, the school teacher type of people, because they know that, for instance, a Nicole Kidman or a Meryl Streep might be too elegant or come off as too elegant or untouchable for the common person to relate to. So they use the folkiness thing, like Motel 6 will leave the light on for you and knock the crumbs off the bed and stuff like that. So I think for what it was, Angelo, it was effective. I think that they're playing both sides of the fence. And there was a key line towards the end where the blonde lady says something like, whether you're a conspiracy theorist or a skeptic, feel free to explore, which basically means feel free to come here and visit our gift shop and visit our expensive restaurants and maybe buy a plane ticket and buy a key tag and a keychain and a duffel bag and
anything else that
bottle of water.
And therein lies the brilliance of Denver International Airport. Because here is what I will tell you emphatically, and I believe this to be absolutely true. I believe everything Mike Messier said tonight is absolutely on point.
Yes.
I also believe everything Amelia said is absolutely on point. And I think everything that I said is absolutely on point. But I'm going to further that by saying this. I fervently believe that Denver is hiding an Illuminati secret. I believe absolutely and fiercely that airport runway is a swastika and designed purposely so. I believe that artwork there was absolutely done to evoke emotion, and they have succeeded brilliantly at everything they've done at Denver International Airport. They have absolutely blown the roof off, monetarily, marketing wise, conspiratorial wise. They're embracing this. They did the smartest thing any entity, any business, any corporation could do. Don't fight it. Roll with it. Go with the flow. And they did. If we had a government that operated like Denver International, it might be a hell of a lot more fun of a government to deal with, Well, except maybe with Joe Biden out of there, because he's fucking clueless, that poor bastard.
Right.
You know what? I honestly, and I mean this sincerely, I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
I do. I feel bad for President Biden. I really, really do, because he just doesn't have a clue. Mikey, let me bring you up here, kid. What do you got coming up?
Well, recently I finished. You recall Disregard the Vampire, a Mike Messier documentary from years ago.
Yes.
And luckily for myself, I have a really good friend who's a great editor, Tim Labonte. Me, and our composer friend Tony Caramadre of Fat Tone Studios got together over the last year. We took that original vampire footage and we reshaped and remodeled it into a silent film with musical accompaniment.
Wow.
As you know, when we filmed that original footage in 2014, we had horrible audio. We had an actor replacement during the course of production. We had a lot of things going against us, which basically turned the narrative into a documentary. Well, with the pandemic, not being able to really film anything new besides myself on my phone, and doing the podcast with yourself and other folks. Basically, it finally occurred to me, hey, if you have a movie, if you have footage with bad audio, can you remaster that into a silent film? And a friend of mine, Chris Anino, had made a silent film, and it kind of inspired me to take my Disregard the Vampire footage and make Disregard a 16-minute silent film. I've sent it to Tribeca for consideration. Doesn't mean they'll accept it, but they have it. It did already win a Surreal Film Award from an international festival.
Congratulations!
And, thank you. So it's a work
Beautiful,
in progress. But this year I've entered about 15 or 16 festivals and just kind of waiting to see if they accept it or not. So
beautiful.
Congratulations!
You're still are you still doing your Avalonia Film Festival?
Yeah, we just had, thank you for asking. We just had Avalonia Festival 7, our biggest attendance, definitely since the pandemic, and definitely the biggest attendance in Florida. Probably, 45 or 50 people came out for the live event. AvaloniaFestival.com. We're accepting submissions for Avalonia Festival 8. And looking for, and it's for short films. So people, they hear a film festival, they might think, well, I've got a 5-minute film. Well, guess what? We have categories for films 1 minute and under, 3 minutes and under, and 21 minutes and under. We have categories for web series, interview shows, trailers, teasers, film posters, film photography, etc.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. How do we get our submission to you? I'll have Amelia put something together.
Please do. The easiest way is to go to filmfreeway.com. It takes about 5 or 6 minutes, maybe 10, to make a project page. So you make the project page first, and then once you have your project page for your project, whether it's a web series, podcast, short film, whatever, then you can enter any festival you want, including Avalonia Festival. And Angela, there's about 20,000 film festivals in the world right now. And I'd say,
I know it's crazy.
Yeah, I'd say 2,000 to 3,000 in my estimation would have a category for this show: podcast, broadcast, web series type of thing. So it's definitely something to look into. Thanks for asking about it,
Mikey. Tuesday night, I had a friend of mine on the show, Jim Fife. He's an actor, acting coach, director, writer, producer, presentation coach. He coaches a lot of people for TED Talks. You know what TED Talks are?
Yep, totally.
Okay. Jim, his claim to fame among the 30 or 40 films that he's done, his claim to fame is a film called The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox.
Oh, yeah.
He played one of the ghosts. There was a black ghost and a white ghost. Jim was the white ghost.
It's a funny movie.
I want to reach out to Jim and see if there's any film festivals on a larger scale that you might be interested in. Because there's a lot of stuff that he knows, a lot of stuff that that goes under the radar. Amelia,
yes,
what's coming up? Tell everybody what's coming up.
Yes, next week we have 31st of January, which is the last day of the month. A New World Order Tuesday.
Yes. Oh, before we go any further with that, just a reminder. When are we doing the writer's block?
Sometime in March. We haven't picked a date yet because we need to get everyone together.
I just had an author drop out of the writer's block.
I'll take the spot. Sure.
You got it. You're in. Okay. Mike Messier is going to take that spot.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Okay. So tell everybody we got the New World Order
Part
at the
1,
end of the month,
31st,
and
February
1st. Oh, February 2nd. Okay.
February 1st, we have, thanks to Angelo, he named my show The Big Mouth.
Yes. The premiere is going to be, the full premiere is going to be next Wednesday. It's going to be Amelia's Big Mouth. And let me show everybody.
That sound good.
Here's the Big Mouth. That's the big mouth right there.
Right. He's got to change the
And
name of
that
the word.
mouth was actually modeled after hers, by the way, folks.
Give
He's
it
got
a
to
big
change
thumbs
it.
up.
What we got coming up? What else we got coming up?
For right now, that's what we have for right now, because we're going to discuss further shows afterwards in February as well.
Well, I mean, we still have shows coming
Oh,
up.
well, I know the 7th of February we discussed we're going to have Hollow Moon.
Mikey,
Yes.
another show I
And
want to talk
2
to you about.
on
We're
February
doing
7th and 9th.
a two-part episode called Satellite Moon, Hollow Moon. A lot of people believe that the moon is hollow.
Okay.
A lot of people believe that the moon is an actual satellite
Mm-hmm.
that was placed there purposely. You know anything about that?
I have heard those theories. I haven't done a deep dive yet, but I'd be happy to discuss it more and look into it more between now
Check
and that
into it,
episode.
Mikey. I'd like to have you on those shows. 'cause
February
I
the
think
7th and the 9th.
Yeah, I'll be
I
able to
think
do
you'll really add a lot of insight to that.
Yeah, I'll start
Because
doing the
when
research.
Mikey does the deep dive, he immerses himself. That's the director in him.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's what
there's-
that is.
There's a
That's the
fascinating world out there.
Yes.
We don't. It's funny, guys. You know, when I moved to Florida, I literally brought like 200 books with me, and I've probably read 2 or 3 of them because I keep getting into the world of YouTube videos, podcasts, books on tape, other books, other materials. You know what I mean? It's there's so much information in the world and so many rabbit holes you can go down. It's unbelievable.
You know, Mikey, speaking of books, you and I have never really taken the deep dive on Fight or Play Basketball.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I think I sent you a copy for your birthday. I sent Amelia a copy.
Yes, we have and there was
we've
another
read
one
them.
that you sent me.
Yeah, we've read them.
Yeah, well,
And
I'd love to talk about them. I'd love to talk about them. Yeah.
And then tomorrow will be a year that I've been with Angelo. Can you believe it?
I know.
Well, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Look at you shaking his head. What are you shaking your head for?
I didn't do nothing. Happy to have you here, pain in the ass.
Oh, did you hear that?
Well, I'll tell you what. We are going forward with this. We are almost, and thank you to the people out there in Radioland. We still have, thank God for Manscaped, brother. We still have manscaped.com. We are now in Australia, New Zealand, and Italy. Little shout out to these people here. Mikey, take a look at this stuff. What's Buzz Podcast wants to welcome Radioactive FM 88.6 in Wellington, New Zealand, Radio Perth, Australia, and RTL Radio 102.5 in Milan, Italy. Welcome aboard and welcome to the Buzz. Our website is just nearing, and I'll tell you where it is right now. I'll give you a fresh up to date numbers, as you know what they say, live numbers. 10,286,559. Okay,
Great. That's all.
Wow.
No, those are real numbers too, and we can't even change them.
Nice.
We can't even change it.
That's
Those
awesome.
numbers, they started at 1 when me and Jeff put that up. That was a lot. I mean, how long ago? 5.5. 5 years now.
Yeah.
4.5, 5 years. And in 5 years, we've been averaging between 1.5 and 2 million people a year to the website. Every year it's gotten bigger and better and more expansive. And now we are on 3,000 radio and broadcast platforms worldwide. We are on almost 500 terrestrial radio stations worldwide.
That's
and I'm
great.
proud of that. I'm very, very
Wow.
proud of that.
You put the work in, that's for sure.
Yes.
I did put the work in for damn sure, Mikey. Thank you for recognizing that.
Oh yeah.
I really did.
And thank you for, because
busted
I
my
wouldn't
ass.
be here. Thank you.
I
for
had
the
help
invite.
though. Jeff the ref helped.
Mhm.
Shirley helped.
Mhm.
Amelia helped. I mean, I've had Mikey Messier for
Yes.
sure helped. You know, And even the people that hated on us helped. I got to tell you something, Mike, it happened 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
We did a show on the late pop singer Aaron Carter.
Yep.
And he's poor kid. He was a disturbed young man. He had a lot of big fan base. What do they call it? Like a following, Amelia?
Yes.
Yeah, and he's a TikToker. He was a TikTok guy, right?
Yes. Very
And
much so. Always
and
on TikTok.
Instagram. He was always on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
doing them videos. Well, he ended up dying, and so we did a show trying to paying homage to. It was Aaron Carter, murdered or was suicide. We did kind of like a whodunit. The people who came on that show, they hated on us so bad. You won't even believe the hate that we got from young adult, mostly women, but some men, who followed this guy like they knew him. And I thought to myself, are you kidding me? We're trying to put the information out there. What are you hating on me for? I didn't even know this poor bastard. But that hate got us over the 500 mark on YouTube, because I don't really give a fuck about YouTube, because I'm not a visual medium, really. This is a radio show. And that's what I do. We do radio. If you want to watch this as a support mechanism, and I've told it, and I've been very honest about that.
Yes.
It's there if you want to watch it. If you do, great. If you don't, I don't really give a fuck. I don't care. We don't care. Amelia and I don't really care.
No,
but I know that you're listening, because I see the numbers on the radio. I see them numbers every day. But we got like 535 subscribers. Now I know it doesn't sound like a lot of subscribers, because Mike Messier's probably got about 15, 20,000.
Not yet.
You're working on it, though, I'm sure.
Right. Working on it. About
but we're
1,000.
not spending any money, though, either. Because there are people who. Mike dropped his camera. We're not spending any money. Like a lot of people buy views.
Right.
And they buy subscribers. I'm not doing that. I don't need it. I know who's watching my show.
Yeah.
A lot of fucking people are watching.
Our show is airing on their show.
A lot of people are listening to my show. But here's the thing, folks. Listen, this is the end of another week. Coming into the weekend. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. If you're drinking, don't drive. If you're driving, don't drink. For Mike the movie maker, let me do this again. For Mike the movie maker Messier, my dentures are slipping, you guys.
No problem.
For Amelia the Pitbull Chapman, I'm Mad Dog Angelo DeCipio. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Be good to each other. Take care. Bye-bye.